To hell with it. All right. Well, I'll deal with that in a second. With the the timer and everything. I'll work on that later. So happy Friday, everyone. I'm gonna go shut my door. My door. There. All right. Okay. Oh, lights. Lights would be good here. The line from a movie. There we go. Everybody can see my pretty face. So, um, got some things. Hope everyone's having a good Friday. Hope everyone has had some wins this week. I don't want to call what I've had a win, but I've gotten rid of some things that have been kind of like I've been dealing with at work that I can't get rid of. You ever been being on the security team? You ever had to deal with product teams and you're not only um, the person creating the requirements for something, but it also feels like for management, well, not feels like, has management ever told you you're kind of responsible and accountable for getting those things delivered? That's kind of been me. So the last month or two, it's been like I can't be the person who's asking for it and the person who's driving the developers to finish it. And so finally got that through management's very um, um, resistant uh, thought process there. So, um, yeah, so that's been good. I've managed to become the customer of that now, which is probably more in line with how the relationship needs to be with the developers for customer acceptance and what have you. We ask for the feature, we give them the requirements, they go and they bang on keyboards until they've got a workable solution, and then we decide whether or not the requirements meet or whether the design and the things meet our requirements, and we accept it as is. So it's a bit of a paradigm shift, actually, which is kind of interesting. That's not how they've normally been doing things, so it's kind of cool. So before we get started, again, happy Friday. I'm Brian. This is my stream. Uh, we're just going to be here for the next 90 minutes to 2 hours talking about some fun stuff. Of course, it's week 25 of the SocVel cybersecurity quiz, so we'll probably do a little intelligence threat hunting. Thrunting, I think is what they're calling it. Hey, Digital Warhead, how you doing? But yeah, we're going to be doing some thrunting. It's kind of a thing, I guess. So I'd like to thank Zulu13. Thank you, Zach. Thank you for supporting us and using your Amazon Prime subscription to support us. So thank you for that. Blue Spider Monkey 2 as well. And Gaming Society 1. Thank you for following us here. So I appreciate everybody for the support in the last few days here and forever, to be honest, not just one time, but all the time. So for those of you who were on with the last stream, you said you may catch me doing surgery on my server. Well, I'm the problem with buying devices that are not brand new is sometimes they don't come with the cables that are required. So I don't know if it was if I'm missing the additional PCIe power supply cable from the graphics card itself, or if the server that I got that was refurbished didn't come with all the necessary cables, but I was missing this cable, specifically the one that allows me to make 6 there's so one, I've never had a GPU with its own power supply fan thing before. Got a huge ass like radiator thing on it. But it was missing. Oh boy, that is fuzzy as shit. Look at me. Okay, I'm a little fuzzy. There we go. But there's like these additional power supply. That's a standard GPU cord. I doubt it, Digital Warhead. This is a fan. It's a big ass fan, bro. See, look, it's got a big ass fan. So I plugged it into my server. It works. The only problem is when I start up the server, it says, please attach additional PCIe power cable to your card, to your graphics card. So the only thing that pops up is that on the screen. And I'm missing, there's a couple of 8-pin or 6-pin kind of connectors here on the end. that the cable didn't come with it. So I had to order this cable that you see on the screen here, which will be here tomorrow, according to the Amazons, to mount that into my computer and then connect that to the 8-port power supply, which is on the power. So I have an 850 watt power supply, but I need this 8-pin portion here on the cable to connect the remainder of my GPU. So I've never actually had a GPU this powerful before in a desktop. So I'm learning, and I think this card that I got is roughly about $1,000 card when it's not old. So we'll see what happens, but it does appear to function, which is a good thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to making that happen. So yeah, so this one has a 6-pin and an 8-pin digital warhead, and it's a, what is this called? EVGA hybrid GTX 1080i Ti or 1080 Ti, and it has a 6 and an 8. I don't know if I need both the 6 and the 8-pin in the GPU running or just the 8-pin. Some of what I've read online said unless you're planning on overclocking it and you need the extra voltage, you won't need the 6-pin port. You'll just need the 8-pin port. But there was a lot of folks that were like, no, make sure you get the right cable, because not only will it potentially fry your GPU, it may also fry your server. So I was going to pick up one that was like, oh yeah, secondhand or whatever. But I wanted one that was specifically for a Dell, and in my case, a 5600, a T5600. So yeah. What GPU did you get? It is called... it is NVIDIA GTX 1080 Ti. It is this one here, I think. No, dear boy, that's not. Yeah, it's kind of like this one here, but not. It's got a fan and stuff on it. Yeah. But it's supposed to have 11 gigs as, oh no, this is it right here, isn't it? This is the renewed version. Where are the options? Oh, well, anyway, this one is, it's kind of like this one, except it has almost like got a big ass fan and a radiator on it. I don't know what I'm going to do with the fan and the radiator. I'm going to assume I'm going to have to cut a big hole out of my case on the side to be able to support that. It swears it will reduce the temperature on the GPU by digital. It says 8-pin and a 6-pin. Yeah, that's what mine. Let me get it back out again. So yeah, there's a 6-pin and an 8-pin right here on the GPU, and then of course there's this big ass fan with a radiator on it. And there's some damage. It is refurbed, so there's a bit of scratching on the case here, and what have you. But if this works, I think it really. One second, I just basically put a Tarantino reference in a Slack chat, so somebody's thinking that they may have been scary to somebody at work. No. Came in with. So, if that happens and it actually works, then the voltage stays at 12 volts, just uses 2 different power rails on the PSU. Yeah, the problem is my PSU is not like let me see, 850 watt PSU. It's not like one of these snazzy looking ones like the Corsairs here. It's pretty much the stock Dell power supply with all, it doesn't have all these fancy connections and stuff. It has like one 8-pin, like what you see there on the far left on the inset. Right up here on top. And yeah, that's the only connection that's available left on that Dell power supply. So I'm I I know I have enough juice because that's pretty much the only other thing in there other than the USB cable. Not modular. Can you plug extra cable? Yeah, there's one extra port left in the 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 power supply, which is that 8-pin connection. So, which is why I bought the cable that will hopefully power it. Otherwise, I'm going to make the blue smoke happen, and I'll be pissed off. So we'll see what happens. So yeah. Um, one of the joys of using like a Dell or something like that, it's not like I can rip out the stock power supply and put in like a nice fancy ass Corsair or something like that. So, but it is 850 watts, and I'm pretty sure I'm not using all 850 watts of it. So there's enough space there. So, um, really. So yeah, I'm hoping the blue smoke doesn't come out when I plug everything in and turn it on. But yeah, so uh, it's kind of hit or miss. So there's a little bit of uncertainty there when you're buying renewed or refurbished products. But hopefully I can get away with having a $3,000 to $4,000 setup for less than $1,000, and let it run for a couple of years and not have to worry about it. Problem is, it's got Windows 10 installed on it, which I'm like, I'm not even going to hook that up to my network because I don't know what kind of Windows 10 install is on there. And I'm trying to figure out whether or not to run Linux on it or whatever, just install a new fresh copy of Windows 10, because I get security updates for that until 2025. So hopefully by then, I'll be, sitting with my Lambos and helicopters and shit, being a famous Twitch streamer, and won't have to worry about, scrimping and saving for that. Yeah, digital. I could go ahead and buy a Corsair or something like this with 850 watts in it, but then it wouldn't fit inside the case, right? So, just I'm trying to keep that in mind. I fully understand. I probably could have gotten a brand new case and a power supply, but then at that point, it's like the ship of Theseus. It's like, at what point did I buy a brand new computer? That kind of thing. So. But yeah, I'm working through it. So we'll see what happens. Worst comes to worst, then I'll jerry rig something up and you know uh screw around with it that way. So okay, so I haven't gone through this. This is our weekly threat hunting survey. So we're gonna go ahead and go through this. And then I have a topic about Patreon, which came out midday yesterday. So one sec. So this albatross that I've had around my neck for about the past 6 months supposedly shipped today, and my colleague is now telling me, "Oh yeah, we'll see about the fallout next week." I'm surprised that shipped. No, no, no. It is a power hungry GPU. You might be right there, digital. I'm. It's an 850 watt power supply, so I can't imagine the two Xeon processors. I don't have a ton of stuff inside the computer that is going to take up 850. I believe everything I read about the 1080 was like it takes like 250 watts. So uh, we'll see. We'll see. And like I said, the worst thing could happen is if that's the case, then it's underpowered, and then I just have to spend $130 or something for a proper 850 watt power supply. And I may end up Theseusing it, and have like some streamers that I've seen where it's like a big piece of plywood and you've got the motherboard, screwed to it and the power supply, and it's kind of sitting up on a wall or something like that, not in a case or what have you. So we'll see what happens. The worst thing could happen is you're going to learn from Uncle Brian what not to do, which is not buy a refurbished Dell and then trying to put in a refurbished 1080 GTX card in it. So, it's going to be a learning experience for somebody or for both of us. So there you go. Yeah. So, hey, Wicked Blue. Hey, Wicked Blue. Yeah. Dells are a pain. I've tried using HPs before. They're extra painful. I've told myself I'll never buy another HP product after having worked for them in earlier in my career, and don't want to give them any more money than they already have. And unfortunately, my work computer is an HP. So, and it's a lovely i5 because I'm a security TPM, so I don't do any real work, which is why they can give me an i5. My boss has suggested more than once that gravity does help replace computers, so I was like, that's a good idea. If I decide I want to get a computer, gravity happens. So I won't buy HP, and I bought Alienware since Asus laptop took a crap, right? And I wasn't happy with the Mimosize my wife's computer, and it's amazing. I did try to go outside the realm of the Dells and the Lenovo's and what have you. I tried a System 76 box once, and so System 76, and they will never, support us on the show here. I bought, I believe, I tried a laptop, like a mobile workstation one, because I was like, oh, I want to buy a Linux laptop because I'm stupid, and I think I bought the Oryx, and this has been a couple years ago, so it's like a mobile workstation or what have you, and this thing came. Oh, how big was the freaking? Oh, you know what? Not to pull out my graphics card again, but the power supply on this thing was about this big, and it sounded like a jet engine the whole time. It wasn't overly um I mean, the battery on it probably lasted about 20 minutes. The uh top and bottom of the laptop were made of plastic, and the packing materials were a bit on the weird side. I think they were trying to do some kind of minimalist thing where it was wedged in there in some way to keep it from moving, which was great, except trying to package it and put it back in and ship it back. Yeah, the Ubuntu that they had on it, because the Ubuntu they had on it beforehand. Well, let's hope that didn't cause any problems. I could not reinstall Ubuntu without losing the drivers, and it took forever for me to get back where it was. And I'm hoping it's gotten better. I'm hearing great things about Pop OS, which is what they use for these systems. This looks very nice and clean and everything. I would love to make this a reality, but I just can't bring myself to buying one of their systems again. So, I'd love to try that, but yeah, I'm just not a fan right now. So. But yeah, they charged me $250 to ship it back, or not to ship it back, but as a restocking fee because there was scratches on the hood, on the underside of the laptop. And I was like, that's not really possible. I've only had it for 2 days, but they charged me $250. Probably restocking fee, but yeah, I wasn't overly thrilled with the experience I had with System 76. So, but your mileage may vary. You've probably had a good experience with them. Yeah, I would just caveat emptor with regards to the quality. And to be fair, it had been a couple years, so maybe they've gotten better at the quality on the systems. So, can you DM me the model number of the 850 watt PSU? Digital, yes, yes, I will. I will do that. I will do that. All right, so let's get to our weekly Thrunting quiz. So, according to CyberInt, reported on the Venom Rat malware. Where does it? Somebody takes the time to find all these. Being sold online, what module allows the malware to control an infected system without the user's knowledge? So, CyberInt reported on the Venom Rat malware being sold online. What module allows the malware to control an infected system without the user's knowledge? I'm going to say VNC. No, what is HVNC? Oh, what is HVNC? Okay, that did not go as planned. Click on open a new tab, not a new window. legitimately software company named Venom. Control software emerged. Remote access tool call for hackers and pen testers. Oh, great. When observing its product, the payment methods and other services. Okay, so what is HVNC? Let's see. You're 2 for 2 there, annoying website. So it uses HVNC, which is a unique stealth technique by some Trojans and other malwares. Okay, so it doesn't really stand for anything? Oh, it's lovely. Little Venom looking face and everything. Janky teeth. Huh. Okay. Well, all right, let's go ahead and grab that one. Doink. Digital, I'm a little afraid to send you the model number because I have a feeling you're gonna ruin my day and tell me that I'm gonna have to get a new power supply or I'm gonna make the blue smoke come out. So I'm a little worried about allowing you to, do that. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, so take a look at that. Read about the Venom Rat. We will move along. NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, reported that it is investigating data stolen and advertised on the dark web from a European firm. What information is for sale? Oh, yeah, I don't want it to be weapon blueprints. Jesus. Building blueprints? No. Oh my God, it is weapons blueprints. Jesus. Oh, great. Data stolen from a missile vendor. Missile vendor? It's just missile vendor. Vendors sell candy bars. They don't sell missiles. It's not like you can, get a knock on your door. Hey, would you like to buy a Sidewinder or 5? That kind of thing. Documents allegedly belonging to an EU defense dealer include those relating to weapons used by Ukraine in its fight against Russia. Beautiful. It'd be like, do you have a moment to talk about your Lord and Savior Tomahawk? That kind of thing. There, Wicked Blue. All right. So, MBDA Missile Systems, headquartered in France, has acknowledged that data from its systems is a part of the cache being sold by threat actors on hacker forums after what appears to be a ransomware attack. Lovely. Subject: blackmail attempt by a criminal group that falsely claimed to have hacked company's information networks. They refused to pay the ransom, and thus the data was leaked on sale online. Oh, it's only 80 gigs of stolen data on both Russian and English-speaking forums. 15 Bitcoin. Wow. Okay. I'm sure this is fine. Sample data viewed by the Beeb include documents labeled NATO confidential, NATO restricted, and unclassified control information. Excellent. That makes me feel better. Well, that's okay. Chinese probably have all this stuff anyway. So, all right. So we're going to go back and number 3. So I'm over 2 right now, sadly. Cypherma reported on a malware campaign using Cosmic Duke, targeting sensitive databases and customer information. To which threat actor is this activity attributed? Sensitive database, customer information. Customer information? I'm thinking e-crime. What does everyone else think? Is it Cosmic Spider? Because if I remember correctly, that's a e-crime or an extortion group that CrowdStrike has suggested. Click. Oh, God damn it. Oh, it is Cozy Bear. Motherfucker. Oh, man. That's why we can't have nice things. Doink. All right. Cypherma. Ooh, fancy. Okay, with pews and stuff. All right. Cyberduke. Oh, my goodness. With 4-point font and everything. There we go. We'll turn it up to old man font like what I got here. So Cosmic Duke is a combination of information stealer and backdoor, and a malware sample we have analyzed as a 32-bit executable binary as part of a natural disaster campaign that utilizes legitimate file names. Really? what is the name of the file? Okay, so it has anti-debugging capabilities, multiple anti-debugging capabilities. Enumerates drives, paths, files, and folders. Loads other libraries, processes, and DLLs into memory. Wow, it does a lot of stuff, doesn't it? APT29 or Cozy Bears, as they've been known. They are also, yes, of course, involved in the hack of the DNC in 2016. Pretty much made CrowdStrike's day, I think. Put CrowdStrike on the front pages. Other campaigns attributed to them are, some additional natural disaster, Lemonade 30. What is the name of the file? Let's see. Sample details. Here's MD5 and SHA-256 hashes of those files. Boink. There we go. Visual C++ program. Okay, so okay, so Chrome_exe or Chrome.exe. It looks like a Chrome updater in this case. Upon execution, it loads the malicious packed code into memory and unpacks that file into memory. The file hash is thus. After unpacked file is executed from memory, following modifications occur. So it adds these following files into their victim host, adds some registry modifications. Oh, wow. They got one called Java TMS up. Okay. Adds, okay. Adds additional dynamic info, current version task tree, PBDA registered SW, skern save. Okay. So it creates a screensaver utility. After that, the unpack backdoor establishes a connection to the C2 servers below. So there's a couple of IP addresses here. Yeah, this is a good write up. So take a look at that if you haven't had a chance to. Update your detection mechanisms or your YARA rule files if they haven't been updated yet. Hey, Rob, what's up? Yeah, so good. I actually probably need to add them to my my RSS feed, so that's good. All right, I'm 0 for 3 so far, so we're going to keep going. The FBI has warned cyber criminals are increasingly exploiting vulnerabilities of which platforms? I'm going to say, oh, you can tell this person is not American because that would be a Z. So virtualization. Oh, God damn it. DeFi, huh? Okay. Oh, good. We have, the FBI is warning people. Okay. So that means this must have happened about 3 years ago. So, oh, yeah. See, there you go. Between January and March of 2020. Yeah. Okay. Great. Wow. That's really great to know that, you know, 6 months ago, this shit happened. So at least the government's right on that. Good job, InfraGard or whatever. So, God, this is not telling us anything new. We've known about them trying to attack cryptocurrencies. Yes, investment. Oh, so now they're giving out stock advice. Investment involves risk. Investors should make their own investment decisions. But oh my God, are you kidding? FBI is recommending. I'm surprised this is not this FBI alert brought to you by Smith Barney or Merrill Lynch or some shit like that. So if you want to read this, please do so. But there's got to be a better article out there that's more up to date than a 6-month-old bulletin, or what feels like a 6-month-old bulletin from the FBI. All right, so let's get serious. Let's get serious. Gotta pull it in. I gotta get 5, just to at least make it happen because I'm 0 for 5 now. So, which country in the past weeks alerted to being under cyber attack from Russian actors targeting essential infrastructure? Okay, which country in the past weeks alerted to being under cyber attack from Russian actors or targeting essential infrastructure? Any ideas? Any takers? Help me, help a brother out here. Let me see. Yeah, 'cause, 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 ' Yes, I got one. All right. Montenegro. All right. Got one. Montenegro says Russian cyber. Thanks. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate that. Members of the government of Montenegro are stating the country is being hit with sophisticated and persistent cyber attacks that threaten the country's essential infrastructure. Electricity, water supply, transport systems, online portals citizens use to access various state services, and more. Minister of Public Administration warned about a new wave of organized attacks on various state bodies. Yeah, I can't read that. So, all right, there you go. So, Montenegro, apologies if you're in Montenegro, the bad guys are getting after you. So, so Rob, I'm probably only, I'm not going to get too many. Obviously, I've missed 5 of them so far. So, it's not a red letter day for me. Usually, I average anywhere between 4 to 6. So, um, look, we'll see what happens. Checkpoint Research uncovered a campaign using crypto. I haven't read my news this week. Normally, I'm really good about reading the news, but crypto mining research uncovered a campaign using crypto mining malware bundled with legitimate software. What tactic did the attackers deploy to keep their infections under the radar? Oh man. Let's see, crypto mining malware bundled with legitimate software. So my guess is legitimate software having malware bundled in is probably a DLL type attack. Oh, you know what? I did read a story about something that was like the malware ran like after a month of being installed on the box. Yes. Okay, good. All right, I got that one right. Okay. I thought I had read a story earlier this week about software that you would install, but it wouldn't work for like a month after you've installed it. So let me see. 100 clean, and after initial installation, they delayed the infection for weeks and deleted traces from the original installation. This allowed the campaign to successfully operate under the radar for years. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. Um, yeah, I had read through some items like that, so I did recognize that one. So, so they NitroCod is a Turkish-speaking software developer claims to offer free and safe software. Wow. Okay. So they offer up translate apps that are legit, but they've been owned or something like that. Most of their developed programs are easily built from official web pages to Chromium based framework. Okay. So you basically pay to have an Electron app of Google Translate desktop. Yeah, that sounds legit. Okay. Great. Um, yeah, good idea there. Yeah, desktop application converted from a translate web page. So they've basically taken like an Electron wrapper or something, loaded up a page inside of it, and then they just happen to include some bad shit in there, which is the write up here for research.checkpoint. So there's the Google search translate desktop. The installer goes out to nitrocod.com. It drops update.exe, which is the application. Then it creates an exe. Then there's a schedule. Wow. Okay. So 15 days or every 2 days or every day. It will downloads an encrypted RAR file from intelupdateservice.com, which sounds legit, but is not. Task every 2 days extracts the inner file, then drops the additional dropper, which is some kind of janky exe file, and then it's either crypto miner or there's malware installed, or the malware runs the miner and then communicates to the CNC server at nvidiacenter.com. Great. Okay. It is what it is. So yeah. All right. Well, try to find, if anybody's using that on your networks, then be very afraid. So there's various stages here. So they it's a nice little write up on the delayed format here. Ah, okay. Format, advanced firewall, delete rule, directory. So it's automatically adding via NetSH or add firewall procedures. Yeah, there you go. And defender exclusions. That makes a lot of sense too. Yeah, you'd want to make sure that it's a trusted device or a trusted application. So, all right. Next. All right, we're good. We're good. ESET reported on the War Rock espionage group. What technique did they use to hide their malicious payloads in PNG files? The only thing that I know of that works with image files is steganography. Wow. Okay. So that's pretty cool. You don't hear about enough steganography being inside of PNG files. I did see some research. Who? No, we posted that up on our Discord, didn't we? Let me grab that real quick. Taggart had done some discussion about compromising Electron apps. If you haven't had a chance to look at that research, grab that. MT Taggart wrote that up, which is an excellent write up. Literally the next day, I think, I said, hey, your work's not done because somebody had posted up a link about injecting reverse shells into Microsoft Team GIFs. So this was from Bleeping Computer, which came out. Apparently, the way that Microsoft Teams handles GIFs, you can actually put a reverse shell inside of Microsoft Teams for creating phishing attacks and covertly executing commands to steal data. So that was an interesting story. I actually tagged MT Taggart on our Discord, and I said, "Hey, your job's not done." He's like, "I just saw that," and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's there you go." So I wondered because he was talking about compromising Electron apps, and I was like, "Well, would this work in an Electron app?" Because then I was thinking about all the other, if his research on Electron apps. Oh, Rob. It's I think everybody hates, no matter what system they're using, they're not a fan. I mean, I've used, when I was working at 3P, I had to deal with things like Google Hangouts. I had like 4 or 5 different messaging systems on one laptop, between Teams, Hangouts, Zoom. I think we had one customer using Blue Jeans, which is pretty much a fancy ass Zoom. There was, what else? We may have had some. Yeah, there's another couple ones. I won't mention them because they're pretty specific to that company's workings. Slack, of course. Never had a Discord yet, but we even had a couple of folks using, for secure messaging, they were using Keybase, of all things, because they were like, well, if you're going to be sending us secure information about our vulnerabilities in our site, we want to use PGP enabled messaging. So we're like, okay, we can use Keybase if you'd like. So I actually still have a Keybase account for that. That was painful because it doesn't scale well. But yeah. All right, let's go back to the big picture. So they're using steganography inside of PNGs. Specifically telecommunications company in East Asia. So I see a lot of Asia and Africa, EMEA stuff, Bank in Central Asia, Southeast Asia, Middle East, and Africa, targeting governments and companies. A significant break in observed operations between May and January, but they returned in February, targeting an energy company in Central Asia and Southeast Asia. Huh. It's a interesting location for these things. I wonder what they all have in common. This one's a bit of an outlier, South Africa, in that area. The other ones border a very well-known. Oh, well, they even in China. Okay, so they've hit China and Southeast Asia. Execution chain. Okay, the PNG load runs unknown PowerShell script embedded in the PNG image. Nice. CLR load is a generic Windows PE 3264-bit versions written C++. It loads the next stage PNG load. I wonder what, they're just injecting it in. I wonder what the picture is. So there we go. Oh yeah, this is good write-up. I have to go read through this one. Request, command execute, reply with command as a result of content, confirmation of receipt. So there you go. Yeah. POW heartbeats functioning. Okay. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff here. Let's see. Field names. client ID, version, exec times, user agent, refer, accept encoding, cookie header for the CNC comms, URL for HTTPS. Okay. URL send heartbeat. So here's the configuration example. So that's nice. I was wondering if they'd actually show you a picture of the infected PNG. Must be like a cat photo or something like that, where you want to infect something or someone. So PNG loads a second stage payload deployed by Warrock in compromised systems according to ESET is loaded by CLR load or POW heartbeat. Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, grab that one. We'll go back to it later. AT&T cybersecurity. Really? AT&T is cybersecurity org. Okay. Reported on the stealthy Shikitega. I apologize for folks who actually know how to pronounce that word. Malware targeting Linux systems. For what does the malware use legitimate cloud? Or what does the malware use legitimate cloud hosting services? Okay. Oh, I see. So it uses legitimate cloud services. What does the malware use the legitimate cloud services for? Stealthy malware targeting Linux systems. Okay, so storing. All right, so targeting Linux systems. I don't think it'd be Bitcoin. Storing malware payloads. I don't think it'd be Bitcoin. Why would they be talking about Linux systems and Bitcoin together? Those don't seem to make a lot of sense from the question. Malware using legitimate. I'm going to say exfiltrated data. Well, so digital. It wasn't today. It was yesterday. That was the story. That I actually have the link here. Security Boulevard is talking about Patreon firing its entire team. The news came out, I think, today, but it was all over Twitter yesterday that there was a ton of folks that were let go. Well, ton of folks. I think it was 5. But we'll talk about that in a minute. I actually do want to discuss that a little bit. So I'm going to say exfiltrated data. Damn. Oh, hosting CNC servers. Okay. So the Shikitega. Yeah. I do apologize for people who actually know how to pronounce that. Analysis. Wow. AT&T cybersecurity. I had no idea they had a cybersecurity group. So there you go. Yeah, there was a lot of people talking about Patreon yesterday. It was interesting hearing some of the takes on that. I actually have a take as well. We'll read some of that from Security Boulevard and elsewhere in a few minutes. So I'm not doing well this week. So let's just go ahead and finish this up. Sophos reported on Deadbolt ransomware group, which vendors' network attached storage devices have been targeted in recent attacks. I have a Synology, which scares the shit out of me. Usually the ones I hear are either NetApp or QNAP. So I'm going to assume QNAP. Yes. Yeah. I never hear about Synology being used in an attack. Not that they don't get used into attack, but they tend to not make a lot of noise. And Western Digital, just not feeling that. So I figured it's either NetApp or QNAP. So Deadbolt ransomware on QNAP devices. Okay. Oink. There we go. Yes, ransomware is still a thing. When was it not a thing still? Who wrote this shit? Yeah. Okay. Paul Ducklin. Okay. He's been around for a while. Yeah, regular readers and naked security will know some victims, notably home users and small businesses, end up getting blackmailed via their NAS or network attached storage devices. Yeah, it's usually because they put that shit up on the internet. That's right. Many NAS users end up opening their servers to the internet, often by accident, although sometimes on purpose with potentially dangerous results. Yes, if NAS device is reachable from the public internet and the embedded software or firmware contains exploitable vulnerabilities, you'd be in real trouble. Yeah, when I set up my Synology, the first thing I did was set up the Synology. The second thing, they were like, "Hey, you could sign up for our open cloud thing and have access to your NAS from all over the world." And I was like, No, fuck no, not no, but fuck no. Because the last thing I wanted was someone to have that ability. So then I went ahead and put sync thing on it, or whatever, which is what BitTorrent sync used to be, um, so that I could sync files back and forth. So because there is a sync thing um, package for Synology. Um, so yeah, it's nice. It's an open protocol. It's completely encrypted. You can sync between phone and Synology, and whatever. And yeah, it's a nice little interface. It's gotten better in the past few years. So it helps me, when I want to transfer files back and forth and I'm not at home. So and I still have a Google Drive, but I don't always put everything on there. So because I do know that they do tend to scan. They can scan data on their servers, looking for things like legitimately acquired Linux ISOs and other legitimately acquired ISOs. Anyway, um, all right, so I got that one right. Cool. All right, number 10. Mandiant reported APT42 using Android malware against Iranian-based individuals as recent as August 2022. What is the name of the malware? Oh God. I don't know what a pine flower is. Do they have grapevines in Iran? I'm gonna say pine cone. Damn, it is pine flower. Wow. Okay, I suck. I suck this week. Wow, I suck a lot. Mandiant's releasing comprehensive report APT42, Iranian state-sponsored cyber espionage conducting information and surveillance against individuals of strategic interest to the Iranian government. Okay. All righty. Well, there you go. So multiple groups have reported on TA453, Proofpoint, PwC, X4's Microsoft, and Charming Kitten. So there you go. They even have a podcast at Mandiant if you want to listen about APT42. That might be an interesting discussion to pick up on the podcast here. Let me see. Yeah, there you go. APT threat trends. Very cool. Okay. Go grab that. All right. So I sucked this week. I was not good. I got 4 right. Okay. That's not bad. All right. Yeah, I definitely, yeah. So those are all the ones you got. If you want to go, maybe wait a few days and forget that we did this and go back through and review, you can go to SocVel. Yeah. So Digital Warhead, you were talking about this, and I welcome the other viewers if they have a thought on this. It started out being, and let me duplicate this because I think there was another article that I wanted to catch as well. Let me see, TechCrunch. Yeah, so this came out 5:30 a.m. this morning, but it was rumbled about quite a bit on Twitter yesterday. Patreon confirmed laid off 5 employees from its security team. Emily Metcalf, former director or security engineer at Patreon, on LinkedIn. So for better or worse, I and the rest of the team are no longer with the company. In a tweet, Metcalf joined the company in 2021. So Emily Metcalf hadn't been there for that long. The U.S. policy head, Ellen Satterwhite, confirmed 5 layoffs but declined to answer questions or say how many employees it had on the security team prior to the layoffs. Satterwhite did not dispute the entire team had been laid off. Also would not say what reason they laid off its engineers, but the company works with external organizations to develop our security capabilities and conduct regular security assessments, which means they have an MSSP and they have a third party who comes in and does pen tests. With so much money, so Digital says with so much money going through that site, 5 InfoSec staff seems small. Yeah. I mean, I would not consider the amount of money and the number of people at the company to be indicative. They do say it has 250,000 creators on its platform. They did have a breach in 2015. Patreon's a website. Yeah. Because I have that myself. So we do have a Patreon. People like Shecky and some of the other folks have been giving to it for several years now. I do have some issues with it in its integrations. Like, if somebody paid $5 or $10 on um, Patreon, I'd like to be able to give them a subscription to the Twitch stream, but I can't do that. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with the Patreon thing. I did see people that were like, "Oh, I immediately canceled my Patreon account." I'm like, "Why?" Um, you know, I get it. They laid off employees. Okay, great. My thing is, did the security change in a day? You know, and if you are using that for legitimate purposes, some people, that's their livelihood. They put all their content out there. They have thousands and thousands of Patreon supporters on there. You just killing it without doing anything, without having a plan in place necessarily, is probably not a responsible thing to do if you want to have them move over. Like if I turned off my Patreon, it would be like, hey, in 2 months, I'm going to turn this off. Here's the reasons. Please come over and join the Twitch and subscribe there if you want to support us that way, or give us a boost on Discord for Nitro or what have you. Um, uh, I can't. So digital, I'm trying to figure out why they would let their people go. That's the big thing for me, and I don't understand the internal workings of the company. I'm not privy to those items. Um, so I mean, let's see. That's all she said, or that's all Emily said. I and the rest of the team are no longer with the company, looking for new security, privacy, engineering roles, advice, or job opportunities from folks in my network. Sorry to hear about this. We have an open role in our team. Okay. Oh, Oscar Segura. I know Oscar. Okay. Yeah, he works at Port of Seattle. Good dude. CrowdStrike. Oh, I know Kelly too. She's good people too. Okay. Yeah, we got several. I guess Patreon's located in Seattle. That's weird. No, New York. Weird. Okay, just a lot of people in Seattle, kicking it up, or people in the area. So, Discord's also looking for multiple roles on the security team. Wow, that's interesting. So, Discord is looking for security people. That's good to know. Where's Seed? I have to go look that one up because I did not realize they had jobs available. Let's see. Oh, Director of Threat Management and Operations. Oh, okay, remote, but in San Francisco. That's pretty cool. Oh, minimum salary of $222,000 a year plus equity and benefits. I wonder if I could get a free Discord instance. Oh, wait. Oh, that's right. Even hiring third-party vendors perform security assessments, you still need an internal team to determine what needs to be tested and how to review the reports. That is fair. I often, so companies hire contractors to work with them all the time. Some of them are ass and seat contractors, who, working from numerous third parties myself. I have, worked with, as a vendor. I've worked as a company employing those same third parties. I've also been the uninterested fourth party, making sure that the third party and the security assessor actually do their freaking jobs properly. That's kind of what I was doing before I moved over to this job over in IoT security. I've worked in all facets of that, and I think that if the third parties are doing their job, there is an internal team, because you're going to deliver this to people, whether it be the software development managers or the developers or what have you. I think if management at Patreon, and again, I don't know the inner workings here, so I don't know what the relationships are with the potentially MSPs and the pen testing firms, but if management is paying those third parties for that report. The third party should be able to communicate that risk to whatever team is receiving the deliverable. We have a lot of people in security who are like, I work in security at this company, but I'm rarely listened to. I tell them that X, Y, and Z is broke ass, but yet we have to call in a third party to come in and do a pen test to give them the exact same issues in a fancy ass report and pay $50,000 to get something fixed. I have mentioned more than once that I have at other companies used an external third party as an agent of change for me because I've told management shit's broke. They don't listen to me. Hey, let's get a third party in here. First thing I do is I tell the third party, hey, I'm not telling you to go look over here, but you might want to go look over here. And, ends up in the report. Then change happens. Using a third party for an agent of change, tried and true method of getting shit done if you're a security team that doesn't get listened to. The third party can deliver that report, should be able to communicate the risk to people. Now, it really depends on what their engineering practices are in that respect, but I would not cast aspersions on Patreon just yet. I would be cautiously. I would just be cautious, and they may have gotten rid of them for whatever reason. I'm not saying it's good or a bad reason. This may be a lesson that they learn really, really hard, or maybe in a few days we'll find out there's been a major breach and the security people were the scapegoats, and now everybody hates on Patreon. But yeah, the internal team, I would say digital is going to be the developers or software development, or even maybe the compliance people. That would be my guess. It's odd. So the company works with externally. So they've outsourced their security for all intents and purposes, right? So they're going to develop security capabilities. So they've got threat intelligence, threat assessments. They've got an MSSP who's doing something. I mean, they may have hired a CrowdStrike or somebody like that to manage their endpoint security solutions. They've probably outsourced their IT already, or they have a BYOD policy where everybody just brings your own laptops. I wonder. So I would love to hear people. Oh, I'm losing viewers. So apparently my thoughts were not supporting theirs. I do apologize for that. But I was thinking about this during my walk today, and I'm like, they lost at least 5 people. Are they going to be able to continue doing what they're doing? And I remind myself of all the startups out there that don't have security teams. They don't have security. They don't give a shit about security until something bad happens. And then they invest in security. So if this is, kind of like the wheel spinning itself back around, it's like, we don't have security people. Oh shit, something bad happened. We need security people. Okay, we've got a ton of security people. Now we have too many security people. And now, let's get rid of some security people. Is that the loop that's happening where it's like, we need to right size because we have too many security people, or, that I'm just saying that there's a lot of things that we don't know about from this discussion that, is that the future? Maybe they've been assured by their third party security provider, their MSP, that they can handle all that stuff. IR is often outsourced. You can bring in a third party to do audits for you for compliance purposes. I'd love to hear thoughts. I mean, I'm not anti-security, obviously. I'm just trying to think about what their thought process was by getting rid of security people, or the security department as it stands. We do have, it could be. There's just so many variables here. So let's go read what InfoSec Twitter had to say about it. So It's part of a strategic shift of a portion of our security program, the company said. The subscription platform is popular among content creators like podcasters and YouTubers and lets them connect with their fans directly and charge a monthly fee for exclusive content. More than 250,000 creators and 8 million patrons. So they're shifting strategically their security program. So we don't know what security they were doing. What if they were the endpoint security team and we picked up Mandiant or whatever Carbon Black. We're using Carbon Black now. So what do we need 5 people to do? Maybe they've automated themselves out of a job. That does happen. Maybe let me see. Patreon's confirmed reports says it will now outsource much of their security to external organizations. The change made this week will have no impact on our ability to continue providing a secure and safe platform. It did not constitute its entire security team, however. They declined to state what this meant. Security and privacy engineering and former security engineers said, I and the rest of the Patreon security team are no longer with the company. All right, so if you want to believe the spokesperson, not the entire security team. So they may have kept their compliance team thinking, hey, it's the same thing. Yeah. Patreon may have put a massive target on its back. Only time will tell if Patreon's reliance on external organizations will be enough to maintain security. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to be cautious before throwing stones. They may find that whatever they've done is untenable. They may find that they need security to help their devs or to help their other organizations understand that. I'm just trying to. I often wonder about the number of security people in an org and what is a good number. What is this? Don't need that. Don't need that. No, I don't need that either. Okay. Digital, I'd love to hear your thoughts about that. I know where you work. I know where you work. Yeah. But I just wonder, why I tried to steer away from InfoSec Twitter at that point because there are people that are like, oh, they have to have a security team. Do they have to have a security team? Do they have to have a security team? I don't know. They're outsourcing security to the cloud, which is kind of, I believe that starts with the word F, over a bunch of qualified security professionals and opens you up to being targeted during the transition. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to debate this more with folks. Core competency, better off outsourcing. It's not controversial at all. Sucks for the people who got laid off. They'll probably have new jobs by the end of the month. I have seen more than one person reach out to those folks that got let go. So yeah, it's yeah. All right. Patreon CEO admits he's an idiot, but argues it's a good thing. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Anyway, yeah. So I would love to get people's thoughts on that. I know that there's definitely a need to have security people, but we have so many other options these days other than having a traditional, security group. I mean, for some folks, they may see more value in outsourcing those, or they may think that there is a better option out there to outsourcing the security. Maybe somebody pulled the wool over their eyes and said, hey, we can do X, Y, and Z. Or maybe they're paying, let's say a security engineer is getting paid 130, at least in the New York City area. That's where that person was. So let's say 130,000 a year. Just guessing. If they did it times 5, so that'd be roughly $500,000, $600,000 a year. If they can bring a third party in for, I don't know, 350,000, to handle all of their security and do their pen tests and things like that. If it's really a cost saving measure, great. But in the end, they may find that they're more agile with a third party and bring them in only as needed. Yeah. So, anywho, if anybody has thoughts on that, I would love to hear them, for or against. Having worked in a traditional IT and security setting, and also from consultancy point of view, being the third party consultancy, depending on how much you get called upon, might be painful, regardless. So, let me see. Any other threat intel stuff that we missed? There we go. The good, the bad, and the ugly in cybersecurity, week 37. This week, DOJ, FBI, and Portuguese authorities dismantled WT Shop, a prolific cybercrime marketplace known for its sale of 5.8 million records of PII. Well, good for them. Okay. Let's grab that link. You can follow along with me. DOJ reported an approximately 106,273 users. Approximately that many people. And 94 sellers operating in the marketplace as of December 2021. That's pretty good. The bad, while back to school garners mixed emotions from students, CISA, FBI, and MSISAC released a joint cybersecurity advisory against the continuing rise of ransomware attacks on the education sector. Yep. Yeah, LA. Oh, yeah. Anybody read about the LA Unified School District? Oh my goodness, they got hit with some bad ransomware. So bad that I think that was on Tuesday. Tuesday. They got White House got involved. It's the second largest school district in the country. I hadn't heard if they'd gotten up to date on that. 50,000 students absent the first day. Yeah. Great. That's a beaver or something. I don't know what that is. Let's see. LA School District. Let's see if they've got an update on their website yet. Okay, so they're still trying to restore services, apparently. Ouch. Unified Task Force will convene to support security district security enhancement. So as of yesterday, they had 93% attendance of preliminary attendance. Most up to date. Compromised email credits reportedly found on nefarious websites were unrelated to this attack, as attested by federal investigative agents. All compromised credentials have been deactivated. Okay. I did hear, they were going to have like 50-some thousand people reset their passwords, which is crazy. That did work and that did happen. So that's kind of cool. That was a huge effort, because I believe what they had to do is actually have a visual notification, like you had to be seen on the screen. So that's that there's a lot there for that. Anyway, yeah, that's that was a rough deal for the Los Angeles Unified School District. So so let me see. Over the educators continuing to digitize their administrative assets, protecting sensitive data will be a challenge, right? Lazarus is back. North Korean linked cybercrime group. Researchers reported cyber attack campaign targeting energy sector. Speculated the main goal was to establish long-term access into victim networks. So they're trying to gain persistence or a foothold. Is this old? Because now they're talking about, they're compromising Horizon servers, which I remember was a big deal 6-8 months ago, gaining access to those things. In July, the government put a $10 million reward for information on DPRK-linked threat groups and their members. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anybody have anything going on this weekend? I'm actually supposed to run a 5K. My blurch, my uh, t-shirt and things are supposed to be in this weekend, so I'll have to go and run a 5K at some point. There's that GIF shell. Oh, that's in Spanish. Yeah. Let me see. Caldera sanctions Albanian cyber attack. All right. Well, there's plenty of InfoSec news. Is automated security enough? See, there we go. Digital Warhead. We were talking about, automating things and touching all of the bits. Security driven development. How do we determine security standards? What are the latest security tools? Yeah, all these concerns will be covered in the upcoming posts. Yeah. Oh, you can taste that too. I was out for my walk around noontime and had that issue. Let me go see what the dealio is with that. They're saying smoke. I'm not sure where the smoke is coming from. I had read that New York City was having issues from the fires in Montana, but I thought that wasn't going to be affecting us or anything like that. So, where's the air quality? Air quality is moderate. Could be worse. I think it's San Diego. You can if you suffer respiratory issues, reduce prolonged or heavy outdoor exertion. That's not too bad. 57. It's like right on the boundary of good or bad. But yeah, I could definitely taste the smoke. I didn't know what was causing that. So. Yeah, you see 57 is actually on the pretty good side of good. I'm not sure why they consider that moderate. So, um, so it's the tiny particles I think that are causing the issues there. So, um, influenza report. Yeah, I don't know what's the deal with that. So, it's supposed to be warm tomorrow. That's 86 degrees, and then it's going to get cool again. So we're heading towards fall, but yeah, I'll play that by ear, Digital Warhead. I don't want to be hacking up along or coming back in smelling like I just been a pitmaster for a day at a Memphis barbecue joint. So, um, yeah. So, I Meta disbands the responsible innovation team. Members were screaming into a void. What is this? I don't know. Huh. Meta has disbanded its responsible innovation team. Is this a security thing? Proactively surface and address potential harms to society and all that we build. It doesn't sound like a security team. Maybe it's uh, the team was involved in Facebook's decision to exclude a race filter in dating profiles, a feature he said was later picked up by other dating apps. Stewart said that during her tenure, the RIT was involved in planning Meta's COVID-19 related products. Okay, so that's more of a content filter, not necessarily a security filter or what have you. Privacy filter. What's this? Okay, I am Danny Delight. I think it's supposed to get worse over the weekend. The news was talking about it this morning. Really? Okay. Let's go see. Seattle air quality. Yeah, there we go. All right. Smoke and fire danger to peak Saturday, says National Weather Service Seattle. Okay. Smoke that blew in Friday will get worse Saturday before clearing out by Monday. It's blowing smoke from fires in the northern Cascades. Okay. That makes sense. All right. Oh, fuck off. Okay. So we've got stuff in our Cascade area here that's blowing it down inside. Okay. I thought this was like smoking stuff from Montana, but yeah. So the Chilliwack and Northwest Passaitan complex fires. Okay. Well, the bad thing is that smoke's got to go somewhere. So we'll be having poor air quality until it shifts back and starts blowing smoke in other people's directions. So somebody's going to deal with the air quality at some point. So smoke that kept temperatures from reaching earlier predicted highs near 90 could also dampen the heat Saturday. That's probably good. Well, worst comes to worst, I'll just go wear a mask. It's not fairly avant-garde at this point. I think I could probably wear a mask outside, but I probably won't run my 5K until Monday-ish or what have you. So, wow, okay. So, digital, what have you done this week? Anything? Also, any of our other viewers, would welcome people who are wanting to, you know, talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. If there's a piece of news or a patch or anything that came out, they're like, why the hell did this happen or whatever. I'm all ears. It's not like um this is not necessarily the Brian show. So if you've got any topics or anything, we can definitely bring them up. So, da, 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 been watching a little bit of the Expanse recently. I'm on season 2. It's not bad. I won't like go, oh my God, it's so awesome, because I know that turns some people off to ever watching things like myself. But it's not bad. I mean, I think it's a fairly realistic idea on how the future of space travel will be that isn't Star Trek or hyperspace with the Star Wars. So, um, Microsoft Sentinel cheat sheets. Kind of cool. All right. What is Microsoft Sentinel? Cloud native security information and advanced. Ooh, okay, so it's a SIM. Uses artificial intelligence. Excellent. I was worried that it might not use the AIs and the MLs. So I don't have Microsoft Sentinel. If you do, then there's a link. You can go check that out if you'd like. Let's see, what else do we have? Network security course. Oh, speaking of network security courses, I think next week, if you're interested, where did I put that? That was in Slack. I think I put that in Slack. John Strand is going to be doing some pay what you can training on SOC analysts and stuff. Let me where is it? You have people who are looking to break into InfoSec. There is the link. So, yeah, he had mentioned that in the article. We're running yet pay another what you can SOC core skills next week. $0 is an option. Let's break some gates down and get more cool people in the industry. So this is 16-hour long. Oh, very cool. Looks very much. Oh, that's John. Okay. He's just him talking. Notes on overlap. There'll be what do you say? Overlap between intro to security class. This will feed into the intro to security class, will feed to cyber deception. Any class taught by me will be pay what you can. Okay, yeah. So he's been doing a lot of that recently, which is really awesome because it's really quality stuff. So the idea is if you can afford it, pay what you can. Otherwise, $0 is still an option too. So you can't hear the audio. I've got it turned down. So, but yeah, go check that out. You know what? Double check. View online class schedule. So here's the class schedules, Monday the 12th from 9 to 2 p.m. Eastern. So that's that's like it's like 6 a.m. to 11 for me. 6 a.m. to 11. And then this one is 7 to 7 to 7 to 11, 7 to 11, 7 to 11. So I'd miss the first hour because, I'm asleep. And then looks like he's got a bit of overlap. Oh, this is a November class. So if you can't go to the one in September, there's going to be another one in November. So there you go. let me just put the link to the anti-siphon training in the chat window. So if you want to build up your SOC skills, you can go check that out. Yeah, John does some great stuff. He taught the 504 class for SANS. When I got my GCIH course, he was actually teaching in San Diego, so I got to meet him. Been a big fan of his from Paul Security Weekly and Paul.com Security Weekly back in the day. Excellent content. So yeah, go give that a shot. I don't say that often about a lot of trainings, but yeah, he does put out some good stuff. So they do have the paid options. If you pay $300 to $400, 6-month complimentary access, or anything above $575, you get a full year to the cyber range. So if you want training, I guess, can be free, but if you want access to their cyber range to be able to do live recordings or access to live fire or live examples, then those are options there for that. Okay, cool. Yeah, digital, definitely check that out if you can. I believe he said the recordings will be available if you pay, I think, a certain amount. So key takeaways, you're going to learn about live Windows forensics, Linux forensics, Active Directory analysis, memory forensics, threat hunting, basics of vuln management. It's interesting why he would put those to incident response process. And I wonder if I bet he can't use the SANS version. SANS has one called PICERL. Yeah. Preparation, identification, containment, eradication, recovery, and lessons learned is the PICERL or PICERL. This is the incident response cycle. I just Googled this, by the way, so I'm not showing anything that SANS doesn't want us to see. This is obviously here. So they tell you about different preparation and stuff. So, people, notes, relationships, having policies and procedures in place, a comms communications plan, various tools to be able to, handle those things, management training on, training management on what to do when engagement happens. You might have a phone tree that kind of goes to your policies, processes, and procedures. Your jump bag. So, you may be at the office 4 days at a time, or you may have issues like that. So yeah, there's a lot of good information here in this. But let me see, double check. Yeah, so there's some good information there. Let me see. We should all stop reporting missing headers just because Burp Suite burps it. Sure, I've reported HSTS and cookie security flags more times than I'd like to admit just because Burp says so. Sometimes customers are ashamed to ask how things work or why any headers would improve its security posture. Sometimes even security consultants are afraid about it. One day a curious customer just asked about the headers issue, and I was completely nude. My only argument was that Burp showed it in the dashboard. Yeah, I have words about that. We still have that even where I work at. And I've actually told our 3Ps this before. Our third parties that are, doing security assessments for us. Just because there is a vulnerability doesn't necessarily mean it is a vulnerability. And I don't mean false positives. There are a lot of things out there like, so I've mentioned this before. I can tell when I've gotten a good pen test and when I've gotten a vulnerability management scan by the error messages or the vulnerability messages that pop up in the doc. If you get like, what is one? So I'm gonna do this. Let me see. Let me see which ones. So I've gotten like specific ones that I know are Nessus, like somebody scanned this with Nessus, or like a TLS handshake error message or TLS handshake. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. So like you'll get an error message during the scan and it says this and you get the report from them. And one of my jobs when I was working previously was that um, I would have to review a pen test from an organization to make sure it was a good pen test. It covered the scope and that the findings were legitimate. Um, I saw a lot of this, missing cookie flags and secure flags and HTTP only flags and all this stuff, or HSTS or CSRF headers, lack of CSRF headers. Yeah, cross-site request forgery headers or whatever, cross origin, the core stuff, cross origin resource sharing. Um, I would see a bunch of that stuff, and um, there's an impetus from third parties, and some of this, like Digital Warhead, goes back to discussion with the Patreon folks. Sometimes when people get a pen test and they don't find any vulnerabilities in it, one of two things happens. The company requesting the pen test doesn't understand that, either they did a really good job and they're not vulnerable to things, or, uh, the pen test company is not good. But there's always the impetus where, if you didn't find a lot of vulnerabilities, then they didn't get their money's worth. And I've had to deal with this working at the company I work at, especially when it comes to things like metrics, where we'll hire multiple third parties to come in and do pen tests at scale for us. And the metrics we run is number, like, and I've railed against this. It's like, how many vulnerabilities were found? Well, why did company A only have, 50 vulnerabilities this year found, and the other ones found 250? Having to explain to them, hey, company B did, 500 pen tests for us and found two vulnerabilities on average per test, whereas company A only did 10, tests for us this year and found five vulnerabilities. It also doesn't take into account the number of findings, the severity of findings. If, and also there's some bullshit stuff in there too. Like, some teams feel like they need to find something. Otherwise, their reports aren't good. It's harder to tell people, yeah, I threw everything I could at it, up to my best work, and I couldn't find anything wrong with your system. So of course, then they're like, oh, great. If I don't put anything in here, then it's going to look like I didn't do any work. And that's something that third parties, especially the PMs at those organizations, really need to go, you did your best. Don't try to put bullshit in here, because what's worse than finding stuff that is not really a big deal is finding stuff that is not actionable. Um, I've seen a lot of cert pinning for mobile application testing. Cert pinning. Yeah. Stop cert pinning. Yeah. Even DigiCert's like, stop fucking cert pinning. Causes more problems than it's worth. Um, and I still see this in tests. It's like, oh, you're not implementing cert pinning in your mobile apps. Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of problems with it. Key compromise. There's hackers. If you change something on one side, you could break the whole system on the other side. So availability may be higher on the list than making sure that you're communicating directly to the website. Um, yeah. So, left sites vulnerable key compromise. Industry standards require that CAs revoke compromised certificates. Now, with your only pinned key now compromised, you have no replacement, and clients who record your HPKP policy will remember that key and will not allow connection to your new certificate. Yeah, there's more risk than reward, right? The biggest problem is the pinning. You lose the ability to respond to certificate issues. You need to change keys, certificate issuers, or CA vendor. You must fix your client, browser code, IoT device, etc., sometimes on a short schedule. IoT devices specifically, you may not be able to push an update to your IoT device. So if you have to move from, VeriSign to Trust or Thought or something like that, you possibly just bricked your IoT devices. Or, somebody loses the ability to turn on their internet light because their internet lights no longer work. But yeah, it's a whole mess. So, you see ones like cert pinning, and it's like, we didn't ask you to look for that. In some cases, we've actually told them to don't add it to the reports. I still see it a couple of times on engagements, so I just tell the dev team to say, won't fix, not gonna deal with that bullshit. um, yeah, it's just one of those things. Um, it's rough to deal with, to be a pen tester or something working in a field. This is commodity testing where it's like, you're going to test apps day in, day out, whatever. And you've got to find something. You've spent, your requisite 2 weeks and you don't have anything. Okay, well, I'll just put down cookie flags because that's always a good one. Okay, great. You've wasted how many hours writing up something that nobody's going to give a shit about. So, um, unless there's a real, and this goes back to knowing what the app is, does that actually make it better? Triaging these vulnerabilities to make sure that they're actually legitimate. If cert pinning is, if that's part of the scope, it's like, yes, we want to test to make sure our cert pinning is working. Great. I've seen a couple where it was like, oh, the app doesn't test whether or not the phone is jailbroken. Nobody asked you to test for that. I mean, it's great to know that, but don't assign it anything more than an informational, right? How many apps actually test to make sure the phone is jailbroken? How many care? You know, unless you're like unless you're worried about things like GPS spoofing, like Pokemon Go, or those types of games where it's like, yeah, if you jailbreak the phone, you can put a spoofer on there and cheat the game. Yeah, it might be a need to look at that, but what do you care? Right? Anyway, anybody have any thoughts, any strong opinions about my opinions? Because how many of you have gotten a pen test where it's like half the findings you don't give a shit? Someone told me I should try to be quiet for 5 or 6 seconds on a stream once or twice. Silence is deafening. Wow. Um, but I mean, if you've ever gotten a third party pen test, you know that there's a ton of stuff on there that sometimes doesn't matter. And having worked for a pen testing firm as a PM on those teams, where I've had to spend, I don't know, a day and a half writing on that, which one would you think the pen testers and the company that's paying you a ton of money to do would rather you do? Would they rather you spend 12 hours more writing, testing the application, or 12 hours writing the report? Now, for me, I was always, document as you go along. That way you don't have to spend a ton of time writing the report. But for me, I wanted to make sure that we got every spare second that we could on the testing itself, not the report writing. Never been a fan of report writing those things, because a lot of the orgs that I've been working with now, it's like, we don't want to report, just put the bugs in our Jira, you know? So that is what it is. Well, everybody, I'm gonna go. Um, gonna get my weekend started. I hope to be able to do some surgery on my server tomorrow. I will send you the code digital warhead for that. Let's go see what's going on over here. Gonna mute that because that's a little weird. Okay. Hey, yeah. Right. Nick Juan Data Sci. There we go. Move that out of the way. There. Oh, no, that's awful. Yeah. So I'm gonna maybe walk around tomorrow and not die from my 5K. But yeah, I'm gonna take it easy. I hope everyone else takes it easy. Takes care of yourselves. Easy work week for most, 4-day work week. So enjoy the last couple days here before we go back to our Mondays. And check out our Discord, discord.gg/breaksec. We have a plethora of things to do over there. Actually, we've gotten several job positions on there. I will send you the model number, digital warhead. And I am going to be mailing out the I still have one of the Hack 5 items left. If you are interested, I believe it is, I forget which one, but Triplexity and I believe Chemisec have one of them each, and there's one left. So if you subscribe at a tier 3 level, I will send you whatever one is left. It's either, I think it's the Key Croc one that is available. If you are interested in a Hack 5 item, a tier 3 subscription for the month, we'll hook you up with that. So I also have, if you want to, if you're interested in Azure pen testing, I have 3 books from Matt Burrows signed by the author that I got from InfoSec Campout. We'll mail those one of those to you if you're interested in that as well. So, all right. Hope everyone has a good week. Take care of one another. Be kind. And, go get your shots. I'm going to go get my Omicron shot, hopefully next week or in a week or two when the flu season starts up. But otherwise, hang on. I'm going to raid Nick Wan Data Sci, and we'll go check out and see what Nick Wan Data Sci is doing. I think he's watching baseball. So have a good weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye, y'all.